here's one that's being threaded into position. So you can see the installation of it. You're going to have a hole, but the hole is going to have to be tapped with a special drill, or drilled first with a special drill, and then also tapped with a special tap that's supplied in the kit. The installation tool, what it does is it catches the bottom of the tank, and as you turn it into the threaded hole, eventually the drive tank kind of breaks away. So again, you kind of have to be concerned where the tank is going to go. And then when the bolt or the screw is installed, that engages the inside portion of the diamond or the cross section of it in order to kind of retain it. So that's how it works. You have to follow the instructions kind of carefully when you install them. You have to cut threads. You're going to have to gauge the hole. They've got a special type of tool that gauges the hole for depth. And then you have to use usually a tool that will catch the bottom of the tang of the helicoil in order to thread it in position. But not too bad to do. Okay, so that's what I can tell you about helicoils. Next, I think I briefly mentioned these in class. These are the OOPS rivets. They're identified as NES 1097 rivets. I've kind of classified them as special because they're not commonly used in aircraft construction except for maybe one manufacturer. Grumman aircraft and some versions of Grumman use the 1097 rivets for installation of thin skins. What does this rivet do for you? Well, it allows you to kind of hide a mistake. If, for example, you drilled a hole and the hole is now too big in order to install the same diameter rivet, what it does for you cosmetically is it gives you a head that will match the other rivets that are in that installation. So, for example, if I'm installing number 3 rivets and I bugger up one of the holes, I don't want to go and get a number 4 rivet because just looking at it after installation, it's obvious that one of the rivets is a little bit bigger than the others. What they'll do to kind of hide their sins is they'll use a 1097 rivet. So what it gives you is a shank size that is one nominal size larger, but a head diameter that matches the others that would be smaller. So they call these reduced head countersunk rivets. You all kind of follow what it does? So again, it's used sometimes cosmetically for that reason. However, I will tell you this as well. Sometimes some manufacturers have to countersink very thin skins. Grumman is a good example. On some of their aircraft, they're using maybe 25,000 thick skin material, which would be too thin to countersink with a standard countersink cutter, using the same type of rules that they use with rivets. So what they do is they use a NES 1097, which gives you kind of a thinner head that would be adaptable to use in thin material. And they're still using a shank diameter that's rather generous in that installation. So that would be one example of maybe where they're used rather than for cosmetic reasons. They're used as part of the primary structure intentionally. Sometimes also some of the RV builders prefer to use these for attachment of nut plates. The recess that you find in nut plates, sometimes the recess doesn't quite look very aesthetically appealing if they use a standard number 4 rivet. So the recess that's in the receptacle of like a nut plate fits the depression that you'd find in some of the 1097 rivets, and they might use it for that particular reason. It's really cosmetic from that standpoint, but something like this, where they've got maybe a nut plate on the backside of the material where this cover is going to go. If they were to install a standard flush rivet, it just doesn't match the contour very well, so the NES rivets work really well for that type of installation. To kind of give you an idea of like a comparison of the rivets, here's an example. Here's an AN 426 AD3 rivet, and this one would have a shank diameter of 3/32 of an inch. And if we were going to have an NAS counterpart for it, it would probably have something that kind of looks like this. So the shank diameter of this is going to be 3/32 of an inch, but the head is actually going to be a little bit smaller. comparison of something like this. This is a 1097 AD4. This would have a shank diameter of eighth of an inch. But look at the heads of these. The heads of these are almost identical. So again, what you've got is a head with pretty much the same profile, but the shank diameter of this thing is just a little bit bigger. It'll never be noticed externally, but the heads are almost identical for them. So there is somewhat of a convex head on a lot of the 1097s. So sometimes if the countersunk depression has been damaged a little bit, sometimes when it mates with like a flush gun set, it tends to flow into the area that's a little bit been damaged as well. So it's maybe a little bit of an advantage from that standpoint too. They're generally only available in countersunk heads. They don't make protruding head versions of these rivets, so they don't have them. Okay. So that's what we have. So here's an example of one that's like used for a nut plate. You can't see the backside of it where the dimple or the countersunk depression is at. But again, sometimes they work really well for installing nut plates because cosmetically they fit the depression really well on the other side. There's another variety of flush rivet, or I should say oversized rivets, but it works a little bit differently. What it does for you is it gives you a shank diameter that's ever so slightly large by an increment of a 64th of an inch. These are called NAS 1241s and 1242s. They do make these in countersunk styles of heads and also universal, but they don't call them reduced head style. It just gives you a shank diameter that's ever so larger by a 64th of an inch. These require specialty drills to install. They're probably more useful if you have to do repair work where you're trying not to exceed edge distance or pitch limits that you might have in structure if you've got minimum pitch or minimum edge distance. So, for example, a number 3 rivet, in this case, is not going to have a 3/32 shank diameter. It's got a shank diameter of 7/64 of an inch, and because of that, it's going to require an installation or finish size drill that's going to measure, or it's going to be a number 33 drill. Same thing with a number 6 rivet. For a nominal size number 6 rivet, this would be 3/16 shank diameter, but instead it's larger by a 32nd of an inch, so it's 7/32. You're going to have to use a metric or at least a drill that's sized with a 5.7 millimeter shank on it in order to install it. So it doesn't use increments that are standard for the oversize. You have to have actually a special drill in order to install them. So that's what I could tell you. Right. Questions so far on these types of fasteners? You've got your test next week. Would you like me to spend a little bit of time on your
Yes, please. Yep.
All right. Next week?
Yeah,
So,
next